here with John. We're talking about AI in search today. And John, I have a couple of questions for you to start.
Sure.
So, I actually had someone ask me in a job interview if AI was going to take over Terminator style.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Um, it's totally possible. I mean, I hope not. But basically, I think we just, as human beings, have to be nicer to each other, and then AI will see us as a species worth saving, and maybe we won't be eradicated.
Oh my God, that's such a good answer. Oh, geez.
Put a little love in your heart, and we'll all be okay.
Wow. Wow, that's so not the immediate answer I was expecting, but I'm
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
proud that you work for acronym. So,
We're all human
so
beings behind it, so it's okay.
Do you,
besides, go ahead,
I was gonna
Janelle.
say, do you remember, like, I mean, this was a couple years ago when ChatGPT was first released, all of the news stories about like all of the people who are working to train the algorithms. I think it was Nigeria, like they would spend hours of and hours of just looking at like the stuff that humans have done and said to one another and
Yeah.
created, and just like lasting mental health issues.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Wow.
Well, now it's trained on Reddit, so oh my God.
Right.
So,
Scourge of the earth.
Yeah.
so, you
Or
know,
the best of humanity, depending on how you what page you're
that's
on.
it. You know, the neck beards are winning. That's what they're saying. So it's okay.
Oh yeah. Well, actually on that note, can we train the AI to like feature brands, or is that manipulation of
I
knowledge?
mean, I don't think you could necessarily specifically train it. It's basically within its programming to absorb as much as possible, and it will take into account anything that it is fed. Um, especially from trustworthy sources. Like the issue with early AI is that it's spitting out lots of things that aren't true, because it's like where I'm pulling from all over, the web. I've got all this information, and it's trying to figure out what are the true facts. So sometimes you can get answers that's just wrong. And that's
Hmm.
what they would say. It'd be
Right.
like, all right, like don't have ChatGPT do your homework for you because you might not pass that test 100%. You're not going to get a guaranteed 100. So it's definitely an amazing tool because it just gives us the ability to quickly get so many insights and just assist with like tasks that usually are just like really monotonous and just takes so long. It could spit out those tasks so easily, especially on technical side, like doing things like, schema markup for websites. You can just give it a list of pages. It'll give you, a list of all the schema code that's accurate, and you could
Mm.
upload that to your website. It's pretty amazing. It might cause people that are like programmers to not have
I
as much
was
work to
gonna
do in the
say you're gonna
future.
talk yourself out of a job right now.
No, well, no, I mean, on the SEO side, you still have to, be able to tell your clients, like, this is what you need. Like, AI isn't at the point where it's going to tell you, like, a full technical audit. I mean, I think there's been
Hmm.
recent articles, and I think maybe Search Engine Land or something like that, where they kind of tested that, like, what a technical audit would look like if you just let ChatGPT do it, or one of these other LLMs or LLMs. But yeah, it's not at the point now where it has like those insights. It's all surface stuff. So you still
Hmm.
need the pro to look at it and be like, oh, this is interesting. But this is what this actually is meaning. This is what it means for your website. What we can do to help address these issues. So, but I mean, it's every year it's gaining so much knowledge. So who knows what
Feels
the
like
next
every
pass?
week. It's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, like as a user of AI, one of my favorite uses has been to just completely bypass search engines. And that's where I'm going to find content, to find recommendations, or to find websites and like to be able to say, here's the very specific thing that I'm looking for, and just have something that is more robust than the keyword search bar in order to give me back relevant answers. And
That's
just
great.
kind of interested, like how do brands go about taking advantage of this, and how are they like should brands react to what I'm seeing is like a very substantial change in the way that users are searching and finding content?
Yeah, I mean, searchers are just getting smarter, right? We talk about like the long tail is just like growing and like people know exactly what they want. They don't need like a really broad term. That's not helpful for them, actually. They need like specific things.
Mhm.
And what we usually kind of will assess when looking at websites is like, whether or not there is like an adequate amount of content that answers the types of questions that are being asked by, that brand's client or customer base. So,
Hmm.
we highly recommend like implementing like large scale FAQs, marking that up with schema so that it can be ingested. And that will help
Hmm.
you actually come up, say, in like a conversational kind of like exchange you're having with like ChatGPT. That's the issue that was sometimes ChatGPT, they just will bypass the website. They'll just give you like the information and like you never see that
Yeah.
website. So, I think the future will hold like less clicks to websites. I think traffic generally will go down on websites. Maybe not in every vertical, but definitely certain verticals will be hit
Hmm.
for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's an evolving thing, but that's why it's really imperative that brands like are out there on all these different types of platforms. Like, social is so big now, not just SEO, like, website, social, like YouTube. Like,
Hmm.
if I'm searching now, I go to YouTube quite a bit because
Yeah.
if I want to learn how to do something, I don't want to read like a PDF manual on how to fix my tractor when I broke the steering wheel off.
Right.
Seeing how I could take it out and like, okay, is there a video on this? It's just like, okay, I wasn't able to do it, but at least I saw the video. I discovered how to do it. And I think that's how people are kind of going to be absorbing content, through video, but then in AI in these conversational manner is definitely going to be grow. But I think it's definitely paramount still that video is something that more brands take seriously. And obviously, it's not the easiest thing to do, especially for like a higher quality production content. Um, but I mean, all of our cell phones they record in like 4K now, and I mean it'll look decent. But having some kind of presence with that stuff if
Hmm.
they haven't started yet, I think is definitely huge.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was thinking about voice search the other day and how it was like going to be this big thing, and then ChatGPT kind of came along, and I mean it's all intertwined, but I
Yeah.
wonder if you see a future in more video and audio searching too, or um, is it going to be focused on that long tail as well, or is it more what are people doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very different based on like the demographics, the generation, millennials, Gen
Yeah,
Z. I mean, everybody seems to have like what they like right now,
that's true. Yeah.
and how it evolves will change. We were discussing with Glenn earlier how like TikTok is so huge, especially with Gen Z. But again, that's video based. And I think visual is still huge. So AI for like people searching that like maybe people like I don't know, 35 and older are like still like, going to use the ChatGPT a lot. And then maybe the younger generations, though, they're just like, I don't care about ChatGPT right now. I just want to go on TikTok and find what I want to know.
I feel targeted.
So it's very interesting how there's such a huge split with the different generations. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll all evolve over time. And then, we don't really know what's going to happen in the future too with Google. Google's like
Yeah,
basically might get broken up into little fragments, which would be interesting.
it would be really interesting. I've seen a lot of posts on that about spinning off Chrome in particular.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys have seen, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's going to have a
it's
big impact.
it'll all come down to like how if there's any kind of ruling on like any monopoly. But
Yeah.
that's another discussion I think we can have another time.
Yeah. Don't we have one of these
That's
about the
another
election coming
podcast.
up? I feel
Yeah,
like it's all intertwined.
Yeah.
it totally is. Okay, well, I just wanted to see if there's one key takeaway that you want folks to remember or plan for regarding AI in search. What advice would you give?
Um, yeah, just content is still like the thing. So it's ever more important to have really great content. And to not just rely on AI to make that content for you, I think is definitely a huge thing. Um, it gets better and better, and I think it's great for like outlining your content ideas and stuff like that. But you need like, someone that's like a real writer to put like the human touch and elements behind it. And even beyond that, like Google wants like personal experience. Like, so if you want to write from a first person, you want to have someone that like had the experience and they're talking about it, and Google highlights that because it's real. It's not just some Joe Smith made up person that is telling you a story that was written by ChatGPT. Um, so yes, AI is an amazing tool, but don't fire all of your humans yet. You need to.
I love that. I did have ChatGPT write a script for this episode just to see what it would sound like,
Oh, crazy.
and it was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah,
How
no, it is getting good.
self-congratulatory was it? Like, was AI like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it all?
Well, they kind of had like they had like a diverse cast of characters.
Okay.
They had inserted places for sound effects like like light bulb
Hmm.
going on here. Yeah,
That's pretty
it
cool.
was it was pretty good. I don't
That's
know what
awesome.
else to say.
No, I mean, again, and then people that like are doing this like type of content, like for like say YouTube channels and stuff like that, and they're just like, man, I
Yeah,
need ideas because I do my weekly show. Like, it's great. Like, have ChatGPT give you the ideas for the show, and then but then because you're gonna be on the show talking, and you're the human giving your expertise. Maybe it assists you by giving you a few talking points, but um, you
still
know,
need the human.
still
Yep.
need the human.
All right. Janelle, anything else to add?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, thanks, John. Thanks, Janelle. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.